beyond the skies.
This is hard enduro. Thousands of riders compete in hard enduro all over the world. They take their motorcycles to places where most people would refuse to even walk. The number of racers is increasing fast. The Red Bull Romaniacs is the Mount Everest of hard enduro competitions, feared and loved by professionals and amateurs alike. For the riders, the grueling event feels like a cross between a race and a war. The man behind this madness is Martin Freinademetz. He is the mastermind and creator of the Red Bull Romaniacs. Most riders call him crazy for Martin's unconventional style and the madness he unleashes on his riders. But he is also known to be meticulous and one of the world's most professional motorsports event organizers. First of all, I'd like to understand the level of difficulty for all sections myself, especially for our different classes. We not only design the track for professional riders. Developing tracks for our amateurs is actually much harder, since we have to adjust the level for each class to make it barely manageable. We don't want our amateurs to get stuck in the forest. Our track managers have developed this section here and tested it. And now I'd like to get an idea myself. It's fun. I love it out here, and it keeps me in shape. I like my job.
Good job!
Sure, this is borderline. If it rains, there will be tragedies out there, hands down. But in dry conditions, this will be fun to watch, and we'll see some world-class moves here. And if the conditions are like the conditions right now, slightly moist, it gets more interesting. If it gets really wet, it will be painful. The Red Bull Romaniacs is a tough race. But it's not just a fight, and pain is not the only thing on the plate. The race takes riders up high into the mountains with exceptional views and scenery. The beauty up there is breathtaking. The hard enduro crowd are good people. Hard enduro is not just about riding. The race circus is one big family. Everything is shared. The track, the hotels, the meals, and of course the riders' briefings. While crucial information about the upcoming race day is delivered, the amateurs find themselves sitting next to the world elite of hard enduro. 4 off-road days and a prologue are a complex affair, and the briefings are key in making it to the finish line in one piece. The race is going to take our gladiators across 600 kilometers of challenging terrain. Those kilometers are going to be hard. So sometimes it is nice to have friends out there in the Romanian wilderness, and friendships will be forged along the way. Being there for each other makes things easier, and for some, it will decide if they see the finish line or not.
I need your way.
Uphill, downhill.
Downhill. In that, I will go in your right.
On my right? Okay.
Yeah.
Knock me over.
No. Thank you, bro. Oh, sorry. Sorry, bro. Oh, shit. Sorry, bro. Fuck.
What we see here is Mario Roman at work. And we believe that Mario only meant well and was simply helping a fellow rider get down the mountain fast and efficiently.
Sorry, bro. Big sorry.
Yeah.
Hard enduro is a vertical sport. 30,000 meters of altitude are covered in this race, going up and down, down and up, and then all over again. The racetracks can climb from an altitude of 200 meters to 2,000 meters. Sometimes the track is steeper than anything the riders have ever seen before, leaving them clueless on how to get up or down. They're not only steep, some of the downhills are extremely long, sometimes too long for the motorcycles, pushing the brakes to the limits. Much to the pleasure of the mechanics, who just got the extra task of changing the brake fluid added to their evening work.
No. No.
I was going good, but at the end, in the last corner, I crashed it. But still okay. Happy. See you later.
Noodles. You want to eat some noodles here? We have noodles, food, yeah. Eat some.
Well done. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah. No.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I've never done this before. In 16 years of the Red Bull Romaniacs, riding a full gold class day during the race. It was awesome. I love it.
Geil, ja. Hat Spaß gemacht. Ja, das ist einfach eine riesen Herausforderung.
It's a huge challenge to race the Romaniacs in your level's class, because it's equally hard for all the classes. The Iron Riders arrive at the finish, muddy, sweaty, and beat, and the Gold Riders the same. To finish a day, it takes a lot of strength and commitment in all four classes. The track today is a typical Red Bull Romaniacs day. It includes everything on the menu for all levels. Riders are constantly hit with the most difficult sections, but then again with flowing trails. I would say some riders will make it to the finish today, but not all of them.
Aber nicht alle.
There are 4 different classes to fit all riding levels. The best riders are usually competing in the gold class, and there are only an estimated 40 riders in the world who can finish the Red Bull Romaniacs gold class. It is a very elite club. Only a very few of the hard enduro competitors are professional riders. Some of the gold class athletes are paid a salary to train, to race, and to win. Winning a Red Bull Romaniacs is a prestigious affair. The rest are amateurs. They make their living as lawyers, carpenters, truck drivers, doctors, and artists. And they travel to Romania from all over the world.
All right, so this is Danny Melvin. This is my boyfriend of 4 years, my badass boyfriend. Came all the way from Hollister, California, the United States.
Pretty much I do the riding and I do the bike planning and she does everything behind all that. Everything. Almost feel like a factory rider sometimes.
No one pays Danny Melvin to race. He is an amateur rider. To go to Romania and compete, he had to save a long time. Danny is a firefighter from California who was only able to afford the trip after massive overtime during the raging wildfires in California last year. He is also a throat cancer survivor.
I'm humbled by the whole thing. For starters, this is the toughest enduro in the world. Hands down. Anybody that's ever been here will tell you that. I've seen so many prestigious, amazing riders come here with their chest up. They're gonna kill it. They're gonna crush it, right? They come home, whoop puppy dog, tail between their legs, never come back. And I read about it in the moto magazines. Thought that was my niche. So all I wanted to do was come here and ride. I'm gonna do what I usually wouldn't do, which is pace myself. And I'm gonna be a little strategic. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I learned that right off the bat. I'm looking at it as it's 5 days long, but in a way that's 5 different races. I've never had 5 races in a row where I haven't had a problem. So I'm planning on having problems. And if you plan to have problems, I think you can deal with them.
The skies are favorable as the riders line up for the first day in the grassy meadows at the foothills south of Sibiu, Romania. On the first off-road day, tensions are high. The racers are aware of the unimaginably tough nature of the Red Bull Romaniacs and expect to be tested beyond their personal limits. For those racing to win, clearing the grueling technical sections is not enough. The top riders are on cruise control throughout the 4 off-road days. For them, there are only 2 speeds through the beauty of the Romanian mountains: fast and very fast. #1 plate holder and winner of last year's edition, Wade Young, definitely feels the pressure on day 1. He rides hard and fast. But sometimes things go wrong, and the odds catch up. It takes only one small mistake to destroy his hopes of a consecutive win. Going at high speed, his foot hits a rock. Despite his armored riding boots, his toes get smashed. But Wade continues to ride and even starts the next day. But things go from bad to worse. Physical pain isn't the only problem anymore. Now, his Shurko started having trouble, presenting him with gearbox problems. After putting up a huge fight, Wayne Young finally has to give in and quit the race. This is a rescue point. There are 60 of them spread across the racetrack. Madness and adventure aside, safety is a top priority at the Red Bull Romaniacs. Is the helicopter back in Sibiu? Or do you still have it here in the region? There is a complex rescue system put in place for the safety of the riders, which involves a team of about 40 people every day. There are 7 paramedics riding 4x4s, 10 doctors, some of them on dirt bikes, mountain rescue guides, and even a helicopter on standby for emergencies. In hard enduro, crashing and falling is part of the game. There are tons of carnage and plenty of action. Fortunately, most crashes happen at lower speeds and go without consequences, except a few bruises, dents on the bike, and scratches on the ego of the rider. Here, Graham Jarvis goes over the handlebars. Everyone crashes now and then, but 1 minute later, they're back up on the bike and letting it rip. After having dominated and won this year's World Enduro Super Series events Hispania and Erzberg, all eyes were on 6-time Red Bull Romaniacs winner Graham Jarvis as a potential candidate for the win. The weather forecast promises favorable conditions for Jarvis. In his case, that means wet, slippery, and tough. It only appears natural that he holds back during the prologue and then nails the first of the 4 off-road days. Gravity has also caught up with Graham Jarvis. He drops his bike 2 hours before the finish, resulting in a loss of his GPS navigation and the overall victory. He finishes his favorite race in 3rd place. Graham Jarvis is about twice as old as most of his rivals here. He has won the rally 6 times and has been on the Romaniacs podium 10 times.
It's Romaniacs, so you can expect the unexpected. But I'm pretty good at fixing the bike on the trail when things break. And I think I've put in a lot of time and effort of thinking outside the box of what could and might happen. So I think I have good chances of finishing. I think the 2 things that might hinder that is either injury or bike failure. I was a little worried about the thumb, but it held up today decent. I injured it training before the race, a couple days before the prologue. So I've been taping it up, and we actually manipulated my grip. Made a little pocket for my thumb to fit in, and that's working. It's getting me through. Little American ingenuity.
Ja, das Streckendesign ist relativ schwierig. Es ist eine ganz enge Gratwanderung.
Track design is a challenge. There's a thin line between too hard and too easy. Things can happen very quickly and turn to the other side, especially with the constant weather changes. You never know.
We
have more than 20 track managers. They're out there in the mountains to scout and prepare the track and then mark the trails. Becoming a Red Bull Romaniacs track manager is a dream for many. Every year, some new candidates join the crew of around 20 international riders from all over the world. They are the ones who bring the racetracks into reality, scouting, cleaning, testing, and marking the trails. Only the tough ones qualify, because it's not always an easy task.
I think it's just about impossible to get the difficulty of the track perfect. You want something that's hard, but you don't want to kill everyone. You've got so many variables, the weather changes, so much stuff can go wrong that all you can try and do is try our best. We aim for perfection, but I don't expect it. We're out here now because basically we think it's too hard. I get nervous because I don't want the riders to hate me. You could say I don't always agree with Martin.
Ja, der Mike ist ein sturer Hund.
Yes, Mike is very stubborn. Once he realizes he can't have it his way, he gets edgy.
Wird gleich unrund.
Martin's a bit sadistic at times. Bottom section's pretty cool, it's good fun, and the top section just gets stupid.
Jeder hat so seine eigenen Vorstellungen vom Streck.
Everyone has their own opinion, especially when it comes to track design. After all, we have the same objectives. Some things are just lost in communication, I'd say.
Eher in der Kommunikation, würde ich mal sagen.
This slippy grass I'm not used to. It's different than home. Definitely different. These European boys can ride in the mud, that's for sure. There's a rock section. Sat there for a second. These silver guys are stuck on it. And then Garcia comes through.
Saw him.
He had a good line. I was like, I don't know if I could do that line. Then he got off and pushed. I was like, what if it worked? I got through.
Alfredo Gomez launches his 6th attempt at the rally. After winning the 2nd of the off-road days, things look promising. Gomez, who had already finished the Red Bull Romaniacs 4 times in the top 5, appears to be another hot candidate for the overall win. Gomez has never been closer to fulfilling his dream and has all options open when he arrives at the finish. At this point, after 5 days of racing across a few dozen of the world's most difficult sections, Gomez is only 40 seconds behind Manuel Lettenbichler. His victory now depends on how he nails the final uphill in the notorious Costa Rica finish. But here, Alfredo Gomez loses precious time, failing the first attempt. Then realigning and inching his way up. His effort earns him an amazing 2nd place on the podium. In hard enduro, 90% of the riders use a 300cc 2-stroke bike. The common workhorse is light-footed, easy to maintain, and usually weighs about 110 kilos. These bikes have lots of torque and shine with an easy-to-manage engine character. Most hard enduro bikes are equipped with extra grippy seats, super soft tires with loads of traction, and hypersensitive suspensions. A true family affair of the Red Bull Romaniacs is the epic father and son saga of Andreas and Manuel Lettenbichler. Father Andreas took the win in 2009, going against Cyril Desprez, Chris Birch, and Graham Jarvis. Today, exactly 10 years after his father, Manny is following in his footsteps on to the #1 place on the podium. The 21-year-old Bavarian has now become the youngest rider ever to win the Red Bull Romaniacs Gold Class. And he fought hard for it. It was his 5th attempt at the rally. He first appeared in the Romanian forest in 2015 when he started together with his father Andreas. Completely overwhelmed by the grueling nature of the race, Manny got hurt and was not able to finish, but promised to come back. The next year, in 2016, he finished 20th and got close to the podium in 2017 as 4th, 1 hour behind Jarvis. In 2018, Manny went for the win and only missed it in a nail-biting finish 2 minutes behind Wade Young. The finish in 2019 is as close as it is breathtaking, but this time, Manuel Lettenbichler comes in as the winner, with Alfredo Gomez 2.5 minutes behind him.
I just finished my first Red Bull Romaniacs. Dreamed about this since 2004. It's the best feeling in the world. This is the best sport in the world. Hardest enduro in the world.
Red Bull Romaniacs 2009.
I think right now I'm the happiest guy in the world.
The show must go on, the show will go on, and we won't and we don't stop. Ascolta acolo, pământul de Sahara.